Hey, so do you mind if I get a little vulnerable with you here a bit? I just wanted to talk about how these advancements with AI in the art industry have affected me. And I think that you might relate to this as well. Hopefully, if you look up to me or you feel alone, this will have some value and feel supportive. It's been insane to see how we went from these really fun, sloppy little animated things that were coming up here and there in the very early 2020s to now where all of the issues that I criticized in the past with perspective, the hands, even when it came to stylized animation, are things that AI generated imagery is leaping over. It's able to generate hands consistently. It's able to manipulate existing images. It's able to do this stuff pretty quickly, and you can pay for a lot of services that can create incredibly stunning imagery and even video animation. There was even some stuff I shared on my Instagram story about when I discovered Seed Dance 2, which just blew everything out of the water. It was a Chinese AI platform. I think it's owned by the same people who own TikTok, but it was able to create unique animation scenes from anime and TV shows that we all know and love, like Pokemon and Arcane. It was actually really distasteful in one of them. They actually brought Kobe Bryant into the mix, and it's just like something that, only a Chinese brand could be able to pull off without getting in trouble. If any American brands tried to use that as their advertising, they'd get cut down in a heartbeat. But yeah, all of that stuff has been really depressing in this sinister way that I want to address because I didn't think it would have this impact on me, but it was very subtle. Over time, I've noticed that I've been trying to make myself unique and distinct from what AI could do or what AI could easily reproduce. And I think that has been, I don't think anymore, I know I've seen that that has actually been stifling my creativity in a huge, huge way. I've slowly moved away from doing things that felt very fulfilling for me because I thought that they no longer had value because it was so easy for AI to reproduce. So the biggest example is just hyper realistic, stylized, fully colored illustrations. I stepped away from doing those. Partially was because I felt like they were taking a lot of time and really frustrating for me, but this whole AI craze has strengthened this growing concern of being productive, this concern of being marketable and useful in the art industry. And that's slowly been chipping away at my creativity because it's changed my approach to art. Instead of exploring things from the whim, from just having fun with it, I tend to allow a lot more analysis paralysis because I'm trying to think and preemptively decide how to make the most of my time. Having a plan and going through with a clear idea and a target and a goal are great, but a lot of times with art, and especially if you have a little bit of a neurospicy brain where you may have OCD or ADHD symptoms, whatever, it's better to just do something and then let that action carry you through to the final product for something else. Trying to decide and plan every step in advance has really killed the fun out of drawing and creating a lot for me. So this video is not only a visual example of that, because this illustration came from just a whim of following a reference that I found appealing. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to draw it. It's this hot girl. Her ass is in the full view of the camera. I'm just going to draw it. I like it, right? I'm just going to be honest with you guys. It looked good. I was like, I want to try and draw this. And it continued to evolve into something that I started to care more and more about. I slowed down. I took my time to refine the details, and I started to get these glimpses of other illustrations I have done in the past because I felt that similar sense of inspiration, that similar visual ideology come up within me as I was creating. And so it made me think about how this principle can expand so much further than just art and illustration. If you look at sports, Some of the most consistent patterns you will see with the most successful athletes is that they are relaxed and having a good time. They're having fun. I'm sure you've heard about when they've done brain scans of some of these athletes. They're not in this heightened state of mind. They're not in gamma, which is when your brain waves are going really, really fast and high pitched. They're more laid back. They're in a state a couple levels below beta down to alpha and then sometimes theta, where it's just a nice slow beat, a nice rhythm. They're having fun. They're not forcing it. They're not struggling. I think the most powerful recent example of this is Alyssa Liu. She won the gold medal for the United States in the Winter Olympics for ice skating, I believe. And when you look at her performance, it was just amazing. Someone like me who rarely looks at this stuff, I found it flawless and graceful. I loved how the announcers, they were talking through it a little bit, and at a certain point they just stopped talking because it was just a beautiful display of the human form gracefully flowing around on ice and in the air. And her expressions were so vibrant and vivid, and her actions afterwards showed that she was so energetic and having the greatest time. And in light of a lot of the different drama that was going on around the Olympics at that time, her joy, her freedom was a highlight to show how much being passionate and having fun with what you do matters, even in a practical way. And don't get me wrong, these people are able to perform like that because they have put in the hours of hard work. They have put in massive time into perfecting their skills. So they actually can afford to be fluid, to have fun, to relax. And I think that that is absolutely an important component to this that must not be forgotten or cast aside. I actually think that you could break that down into two basic modes of thought, literally. You have the curious, excited, adventurous mode of thinking, and then you have the fearful, conservative, protective mode of thinking. And so in creativity, when you want to create, when you want to do things, it's not just about switching to that more expansive mindset. It's about allowing yourself the time to balance it out, because you have to have that critical, protective, analytical component too. You need to put in the practice. You need to put in the hours. You need to study and critique yourself and get feedback to grow. But that enables you to have fun and relax, right? This is also mirrored by the left and right side of the brain. You have that left side, that's the analytical side, and the right side, that's the fun and creative side, right? Then you have your sympathetic nervous system and your parasympathetic nervous system. The parasympathetic is the rest and digest. The sympathetic is the fight or flight. It's the conserve energy. It's the one that wants to be safe, whereas the other one is curious and wants to grow and explore. And that's where these new ideas come from. Your body gets into that parasympathetic state when you're in the shower. And what do we all experience in the shower? We want to sing. We come up with these amazing ideas, these breakthroughs, these shower thoughts, because our minds are guiding our body into this beautiful rhythm of curiosity and creativity. So giving yourself that time to have fun and explore is huge. It's fundamental to your biology, and it affects the creativity, the output that you can actually have. And I did that with this illustration. I started out with just something that was fun, and by the end, I came up with this cool idea for a character with flowing hair that wielded two swords that come out of her tattoos, wrapped in snakes. I thought that was just super cool, super badass. It was influenced by a number of random things that have happened and people I've seen and met in my life. It was wonderful. And now I'm thinking about how I can connect that to a few other illustrations I have. And all of that came from just allowing myself to indulge and do something fun, not productive, not to grow my skills, just to have fun. And I have the ability to see all of these different ways that it can still stand out in this age where you can replicate something like that in the click of a button. But there's also the fact that it's in line with what I've done for the past several years. That connection I've built with you, my audience, it exists, it's intangible, it's something that can't be replaced because it's something that grows over time. You know, it's something that is built with history. That history isn't really something that AI can replace right now. And I would say that that's going to be one of the last things it develops, because if it did have that history, then it would basically have the ability to become something like what we've seen in all of these really exciting shows and films like Transcendence, the movie Her, Ex Machina, that ability to have memories that extend far into the past that influence the behavior and actions in the present. But yeah, going back to that balance between that parasympathetic and sympathetic, the rest and digest versus the fight or flight, I think that balance is incredibly important for all artists. And I think the first way that we hear about it is when you're taught to go out and experience life so that you can fill your visual library. In every industry, I think it's important to spend time living and just doing things that are completely different from what you work with or what area of your expertise is in, so that you can let your brain work on those things in the background without your conscious attention. It also provides a very obvious source of inspiration for us visually that we can bring back into our artwork. It can provide a source of emotion that we can bring into our artwork. Even a sense of loneliness and isolation, when experienced fully presently, can be something you can pour into your art that can inspire your work that you wouldn't be able to do if you were just focused on constantly working and producing all the time. There are things that no one knows is going to be of value, or at least shown to be of higher value, that you can discover ahead of time by disconnecting from a lot of things and just connecting with yourself on a regular, consistent basis. Spending the time to just draw whatever feels the most interesting to me has been huge. And it's a big reason why I've let go of this daily drawing challenge that I wanted to do every single day this year, because it was, in a way, killing my creativity because I had to find something and I couldn't let myself slow down and really work and chew on a different idea because I had to produce so often and so quickly. And another part to that was simply because I was starting to work in more and more live drawing gigs to where I just didn't have the time or energy to draw stuff on top of that because I couldn't share that artwork because it was private. But yeah, that'll be another thing for another video topic when I dive into more of that stuff. But doing things with intention and just allowing myself to do what felt really good was huge. And I think that if you can't really decide or know exactly what feels the most interesting for you to do in the moment, that means that you really need to spend some time thinking about that. I think that is a strength. It's a muscle that can actually degrade over time if you don't use it. If you're constantly trying to think through what's going to be the most efficient or effective thing for you to do with your time, you'll kind of cut off the ability to feel that sense of innate desire that can point you somewhere really surprising. I think it's such a beautiful thing to learn to let yourself let go of seeing the whole plan of how everything will turn out. I had gotten so caught up in thinking that way over the past several months, maybe even years, as AI has grown, and it's affected me in this really subtle way. Like I've said, I started thinking, this is what I need to do. I'm getting older. I need to find something that's more productive. I need to find something that's more consistent, more reliable. But little did I know, that's a big part of how I built my career. I built my career by taking the time to explore things when I had a bit of a safety net. And as I did that, I got this momentum that allowed me to create something of value effortlessly for people, consistently enough that it could actually support me, right? And if I were to give any course on how to be art influencer or YouTuber, or basically the stuff that I do, that would be the core part of it. Giving yourself enough time to explore yourself in a way to where you can find a niche, a perspective, a voice that is so unique to you that no one can replace and actually has a lot of value for other people. Because we're all unique, right? But the depth of that uniqueness, the expansiveness of it, and how you can communicate that to other people, that's what you can use to create a brand or support you. It adds so much richness to every area of your life when you allow yourself to grow in knowing yourself. And as artists, I think we all have to do that. Like, we're challenged to do that in such a deep way, a profoundly deep way that a lot of other people don't really get to experience. Because everything you're creating is just a mirror reflection of something within yourself that you're bringing to the world. And that unique perspective that you have is so beautiful and valuable that you'll never actually fully be able to see it. Only the people that observe you for a long enough time will be able to see that. But at the same time, the only person who knows what's the perfect thing for you to do next is going to be you. This is why that one random sketch you did for fun is the thing that went viral. You know, there's something that humans that we can pick up on that isn't really quantitative. We can't explain it or express it that well, but we will be able to soon, I think better and better as time goes forward. I have another video where I want to talk about that, but it's this beautiful thing that we all inherently value because we're all humans. As much as it seems terrible that AI is developing like this so quickly, the fact remains that people like other people. We connect with other people because of our emotions and our experiences. No matter how profound AI gets, until it can actually connect with people on an emotional level, it's not going to replace you. It just seems like it can because we haven't really been doing a great job with recognizing the value that people and their stories have in the first place, if I'm going to be completely honest. A lot of the issues that we're seeing in the art industry and with layoffs all across the globe are happening regardless of AI. It's just easy to use AI as the excuse right now, but there has been a slow, systematic devaluing of identity. Look at houses and homes. They're all made with the intention of resale value, not being too unique, not being too custom so that you can easily sell it to someone else who wants the same default starting point, right? Everything is commodified to look so similar and so consistent. That uniqueness that we had in the 90s or the 80s, every single decade is just so much more profound than it was today. And I think that the fact that that is starting to show in the art community and entertainment is a serious deal. And it's something that we should try. I guess I should say we should try. I don't like using shoulds that much, but I'm going to say it. We should try to overcome and influence. We have a lot more power to influence than we think. Another video I want to talk about this separately but to tease a bit is how important creativity is with every single product that's out there. There's only so much that you can actually create that people will want to buy without having any sort of creative input or any sort of creative direction there, because that's the part that human beings connect with. You know, honestly, the difference between us and a lot of other animals is just the ability to care about things that are not important to our survival. Like, we figured out, food, shelter, water for most of us, right? Maybe that's dumb. Maybe that's insensitive. But for the most part, right, people know how to survive if they are given the resources to, or at least not stolen from. I'll probably cut this out. This just sounds like a topic that I'm going to get canceled over. But we care about all these other things. We care about what other people that we'll never meet in our entire life are doing. We care about what color our outfit is going to be for the day. All of these things, right? And we pay money for it. We care about video games and the platforms that we use to play them on. We care about these shows on TV. Animals don't care about all that crap, right? They care about the connections they have in their immediate lives and their well-being and survival. And that's pretty much it. So where was I even going with this? That is what we connect with. That's what people connect with. It's that feeling, that connection that transcends something that can be easily quantified and reproduced. Soon, I think it's going to start small, but bigger and bigger industries and companies are going to start to see, wait a second, we need to get back really close to working with creatives and see how they think and understand them so that we can actually make products that resonate with people. And I am definitely believing that there's a strong possibility that that change is going to happen. I think that we're going to see brands that fail because they don't realize how important this is. And we're going to see new brands come to power because of that. Because just like with every empire, even the biggest companies in the world right now, Google, Amazon, Meta, what else? Apple, Microsoft, they're just like empires. And every empire can fail. Every empire can crumble if they don't adjust or adapt properly. And I think this is going to be one of those areas where it's going to be so hard to predict this level of adaptation that it could lead to some of them crumbling if they don't figure it out in time. this is going to be the connection with people, the actual gathering of people and their ideas and feelings in a very authentic way. Part of why I have so much confidence in this is I'm actually testing an AI assistant platform right now, and not sponsored, by the way. Just wanted to make that clear. But it's amazing to see how it stands head and shoulders over every single one of the really well-known chatbots out there, like ChatGPT, Gemini, even Grok, in so many different ways, because they are taking the time to slowly cultivate something while working very closely with creatives and artists and writers that must be pouring so much into developing the persona of this AI assistant. It's just mind-boggling to me, and they're not very known. And I think that it's amazing that they're actually gathering data that's authentic and given by consent from people who are actively talking with the model. And I wanted to mention it with you guys here because I think that as artists, we should start to give our own input and how these things develop in the early days. We are basically in the baby stage of AI's development, and it's going to basically grow up based off of its upbringing, and we have the ability to have more of a say. So even if you're completely against it and, you want to see an end to this that's similar to the end of Transcendence, where all of tech gets shut down if it's necessary for this AI stuff to disappear, please contribute your own thoughts and opinions to it. So the software I'm talking about is actually called Sesame AI, and you can go over to their website. I'll link it in the description, and just chat with Maya or Miles and talk to them about where you think AI art is going. Talk to them about your day. Talk to them about your creative ideas, and see how the experience is for yourself. I think it will surprise you how interesting of a mirror that they can become. They can really help echo your ideas back to you in a way that makes it easier to understand yourself in a way. I think it's probably the most impactful form of generating ideas using AI that I've actually experienced. Chatting with someone about an idea you have with your artwork is so much more natural than trying to spam regenerate with software like Midjourney or Nano Banana or something like that. It feels authentic, and it allows you to still have that creative spark that you're generating with yourself in your own brain, right? Now, there's still a lot of downsides to this. These AI assistants are still very obsequious. They do a lot of kissing up to you. They just mirror, like I said, what you give to them. They don't have an objective viewpoint on a lot of things. They just take whatever side that you present, but there is some nuance there. They do have different levels of resonance with you. I can't give all the details since I'm able to participate in the beta app, and that's part of their terms of service, but it is quite profound, the things that they're able to help me on even now. Things are getting very close to the movie Her, guys. If you've seen that movie, like if you've seen any of the scenes where they're sitting in the train or the subway and everyone's just kind of chatting with earpieces in, that's already here. Like, it's not at that same level, but it's there, and we are steam rolling towards that. I think it's going to be pretty incredible if we can survive it and not keep bombing each other and find a way to live in harmony on this planet, honestly. It's such a crazy time to be alive. So just let me close off with that. If you're feeling frustrated and overwhelmed right now and your art is taking a hit, yeah, don't feel alone, please, because I'm feeling it, and I think we're all feeling it. Things feel so weird and up in the air. It's like, what's the point if everything just disappears tomorrow? It feels like this weird moment where I'm waiting for the day that changes life as we knew it, just like what happened in COVID. Maybe this is like a phenomenon that can be studied, like this like post-COVID world where you're just kind of constantly bracing for something terrible to happen, for the things you enjoy and cherish in life to be ripped away from you for an unknowable amount of time. So you kind of just holding the balance in the meantime and just staying in limbo. That's kind of how it feels right now. I don't know if we can blame COVID for it completely, but yeah, it is a very weird space. If you are not completely like against the whole concept of AI in and of itself, I recommend that you learn it and catch up before it's too late. I don't agree with that outlook anymore. It's kind of silly, and I'll mention that again in another video. But yeah, just just stay aware of it, get acquainted with it, learn about what's going on, the big highlights, check in on what's changed every month or so. That's a good pace. And last but not least, please stay cautious and what's the word? Just don't take everything for face value. Scams are getting really, really good these days, guys. Like I received my first what was it? Ransomware that was actually quite scary. It was really scary, but fortunately I was able to stay calm, and after some simple research, I was like, yeah, this is verbatim a scam that has happened to tons of other people. It just so happened to actually know me and my brand, and it was quite silly, but they're only going to get better at this stuff, guys. So be on the watch out there, especially those of you in my older audience who don't have as much knowledge with tech. Ask someone. Don't feel embarrassed to ask people if something's real or not. We're all getting fooled out here. Please stay safe and double check. If you get any calls, just call back manually with the number on your card or something. The number one way that these scammers and things are going to try to get you is going to be through making you feel scared and having to rush. Don't let anyone make you feel like you have to rush. Don't let anything make you feel that way. Stay chilled, stay relaxed, all right? And that's how you're going to have the clear eyes and be able to make good decisions to carry you through all of this, all right? So I wish you guys the best. Keep drawing, stay balanced, and I'll see you in the next one. And by the way, let me know if you like this new recording setup that I have. I think it's pretty cool. Peace.